Hello class, my name is Melissa Metcalf and I'm going to be sharing you my personal narrative story. So the story that brought all this together was basically I wanted to share how me and my family first went on to Colorado as a family to go on a skiing trip because my older sister Courtney lives up there. I have 4 sisters, so I'm the middle age. I have a 16-year-old, an 18-year-old, I'm 21, my other sister 22, and then 29, which is she's the one that lives in Colorado, the 29-year-old Courtney. I wanted to bring this story up because family means a lot to me. If anyone asks me what I'm doing or like, you want to hang out later, I'm always like, hanging out with my family. I love spending like quality time with my family. That's like, it's literally all that I do most of the time. If I don't do work or school, I'm just always with my family. I think it's very important, and like, they're always going to be there for you. They're always going to like be in your life. So I just think, why not spend time with them if you're going to spend time with anyone? So basically, we were all going on a trip to Colorado together to go skiing, and it's hard to get your whole family to go somewhere, especially when everyone works, everyone has school, everyone has their own issues in life. So to get everyone to like be able to go on this trip was like a blessing because we're not always together. She lives in Colorado, so it's hard for us to be all in one place at the same time. So this was a couple months prior to us going. We went to Colorado in January, but in November-ish, me and my older sister, the 22-year-old Madison, we got a call from my sister Courtney, the one that lives in Colorado. And we see her about like once a year maybe, but it's been a couple times where we've seen her like every 3 years, every 5 years, like just depends. So we got a call from her, and she was like deeply depressed, and she was like crying on the phone, and we like didn't know what was going on. And then she told us that her like boyfriend that she's known for like 5 years, was together for like 5 years, had cheated on her. So, and she was living with him and 2 other roommates at this time. And so we were like, automatically me and Madison were like, oh, we need to go there. We can't just have her sad by herself, you know. And she's like, I need to get out of this house, I need to move away, like I need to be somewhere else. So me and Madison called off work or got our shifts covered, whatever we could, to fly to Colorado, like literally within the next 2 days. And we could only get off like a week or like a couple days. I work like a weird shift. I work 12-hour shifts, so I'll need to get off like 3 shifts to be able to be there for her. But it was so late in advance that I did have to call off like once, and I never call off. So we end up flying there, and we have to like, I packed my own stuff when I was like 10 or something when we moved into this house now, but I haven't like packed up a house in like a long time since I like can remember really. So getting there to pack up her stuff, and like as she was feeling so like depressed and not in like a good headspace, was like very difficult. We got there, and then she was just not in a good place, but she was happy that we were there. Obviously, I would say we're pretty close, although we don't live together. We're like, I call her like all the time. I try to like stay in contact with her because I think, like I said, family is like very important to me. So we started packing up her stuff, and her boyfriend Will, the one that had cheated on her, was out of town with the girl he cheated on with. So he wasn't there in the house while we started packing up our stuff, but he wasn't there at all. So it was like easy for us to not be around, like to pack with like clear our headspace. He wasn't there to like, you know, give death glares and stuff like that, which made it easier for us and easier for her. But the whole plan was she was gonna move to back to Arizona with us. But then she was like, I'm not gonna pack up my whole life and just move back to Arizona when he's one that cheated on me. Like, she just didn't want to like give up, you know. So we figured stuff out, but this was a decision as soon as we got there that we were gonna get a U-Haul and pack all our stuff and go to Arizona, right? But no, she didn't want to leave. So then we had to figure out where is she gonna go. We had to buy a storage unit so that all of her stuff that she was gonna live at was somewhere in the meantime. So before she moved with her boyfriend, she was living with 2 roommates, and so she ended up being able to move back there with them. And it was like a 10-minute drive from her house now, because she lives in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, which is a very small town. So it wasn't too much of a like travel to get to the apartment that she's living now in her old house. So we had like different boxes. We had boxes for the storage unit, boxes for her new apartment, and we would just pack up what she needed now and what she's going to need later. And it was winter. It was snowing in Colorado, or it was about to snow, because this was in like November-ish. It was about to like snow really bad, so we decided to pack up her summer stuff, her dresses, her swimsuits, stuff like that, and move stuff from storage unit to her new apartment. And so that took like, it was a lot. And she was upstairs, and the stairs were like so narrow that like to get like furniture down there was impossible. I pulled my back doing this. So she had a queen size bed with like a mattress spring, a mattress, and another mattress. We had to move 3 mattresses, 2 box springs, and like another mattress all downstairs. She had like a big dresser. She had like a couch, a TV. Like we had to like bring all of that stuff down these narrow stairs. So it was like very difficult, but we ended up packing stuff in the storage unit, and we did it in like a fantastic amount of time. And then we had like a little overnight bag. It wasn't really overnight because she was coming. We were gonna rent a car and drive back to Arizona, which is like a 13-hour drive from where she lived. And she was just gonna spend some quality time with family before she came back home, and like basically kind of like started her new life over. So we rented a car and we drove to Arizona after we packed everything and everything was said and done. And basically this was like a very, I don't know, this was like, it's hard to explain because yeah, we just went to Colorado and we packed up her stuff, but seeing my sister in like such a vulnerable state, and like me being the one that was like able to be there for her and like help her get herself situated and like understand that like, hey, there's more men in the sea, like more fish in the sea. He obviously, like, she thought she was gonna marry this man, but like, I mean, stuff happens, and it was very sad. I've never, like I said, I don't live with her. She lives in a whole different state, so I don't really see her like that vulnerable, especially in person. And I'm not really around, like, I'm around siblings all the time, sisters. It's a big thing. But like saying she would get like anxiety attacks when we were there, and she would just have like these episodes where she would just cry. And like, I didn't even have to say much. Like, me just holding her and being there for her was like all she really needed. So it was like beautiful and very sad in the same way. But it was nice to be there for her and be able to like take care of her in this vulnerable time that she had. So we all got home and then to Arizona. We all spent like a good week there. She was still not doing very well. But then she had to drive back in the rental car to Colorado. She didn't, I mean, I wouldn't want to drive 13 hours by myself to Colorado after like, you know, and she was crying like, So my older sister, Madison, the one that we went to previous together to Colorado, she drove back with her. I couldn't get work off in time, so I just stayed home. But it was good that my sister was able to be there and help her like unpack, because when we moved to the apartment, we just like put boxes in the room. Like, we didn't even like unpack and make it like a home, because we just had to book it and go back to Arizona. But she stayed there and she helped her unpack, and then she flew back home. And this was in like November. Then we wanted her to spend Christmas with us, but that was like impossible because she works 2 jobs, so she had to go back home too. But in January, like 2 months later, we planned a trip to Colorado to go skiing and like be able to be there for her. So we've all been to Colorado to visit her in separate times, but all of us to be there together at the same time was like very rare. It has not happened. But we were there for her, and she was doing okay. She was doing way better than she was. But she wasn't able to see like my sisters in a long time either. So I think all of us being there in Colorado at the same time to spend like quality time with each other, and like we even went to her restaurant where her ex-boyfriend worked, and like she was still a little bit heartbroken, but she like understood that like she has to move on, and so does he. And his ex-girlfriend or new girlfriend ended up moving into that house that she had to leave. It was a whole messed up situation, and I would never wish it upon anyone, because just seeing like the hurtness that my older sister had, like I do not want anyone to ever have to go through that. And I'm just glad that we were able to all be there for her. And like, even though having 4 sisters, there's a lot of hormones, there's a lot of emotions going around, and we're never like all together at the same time. So honestly, being in Colorado might have like made her anxiety maybe a little worse, but I think like in the end she did cry because we had to leave. Like she she was just happy that we were all there for her. And I just wanted to share this story because like family, although it has its ups and downs, it's tough situations, like your sisters, your family will never judge you. Like they're always going to be there for you, and they're your like number one friends. Like I will never not continue to go to my sister for like advice or help or like about anything. So basically, yeah, I just wanted to say that your family's always going to be there for you. No one will judge you. She didn't even want to tell me what was going on in the first place, but then I realized, she was like, I'm your older sister, I'm the one supposed to be taking care of you. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Like, family is family, whether you like it or not. So she's doing much better now. It's been like 6 months since the breakup, and I mean, she's still not the best, but I call her every day. We talk all the time because I know it's like 13-hour difference, like not difference, but away, very far. So I can't just fly up there whenever I want to. I have school, I have work. It's hard to get those days off, but I try to call and FaceTime her and like talk to her as much as I can, because being alone in a small city where you don't really have that many creative friends, it's nice to be able to hear from your family once in a while. So I'm glad to share that story with you because it meant more to me than just a vacation or like going skiing. It meant way more to me than that. Like, to be able to be with your family all together in one, in a state that is beautiful, Colorado, gorgeous when it's snowing. It just meant a lot to me, and I wanted to share that with you guys, even though like it was difficult to reach to that point. Like, she didn't even think we were going to be able to come because she was just not in the best place. But we're all glad that we went, and she's glad that we came. So thank you for listening, and that's my story.